welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking a Cryptic, where today we've got the return of an old friend to the channel. Joseph Nehme, whose puzzles are always popular, has got a puzzle here called The Odd One. I've no idea why it's called that, but I can tell you this puzzle is another of these that's been recommended countless times over the last few days. Apparently this is one of the best killer Sudokus people have ever solved, so it ought to be an absolute treat. It's actually quite hard to get on the channel nowadays with just a straight killer Sudoku. It's a bit like a straight classic Sudoku. You know, it really has to have something clever about it, and this one, by all accounts, it does have just that. So we should be in for a treat as always. We do scour the earth for the very, very best in the Sudoku world to show you each and every day. Other things to mention before I read you the rules, which you'll probably know if you know it's standard killer Sudoku. Mark and I are going to be trying to stream tomorrow night. The game is called Return of the Obra Dinn, and I know that we do have some children who do follow the channel. It's probably not suitable for very young children, apparently. It's a detective story in some way, and I think it involves various murders. So just be warned. I don't know about language either, so just be a bit careful if you are young. Other than that, what was the other thing I wanted to mention? Well, okay, it's Patreon, of course. Yes, I've got two things to tell you about Patreon. The first is, if you enjoy our crossword content on Patreon, we have a treat for you. Mark has solved one of the most difficult listener crosswords of recent times, which was a puzzle by Enigmatist, John Henderson. He's a friend of ours, and he published a puzzle in the listener that got very few correct entries. It was absolutely monstrously difficult, and Mark has gone through how to solve that puzzle. So if you are a fan of cryptic crosswords, and a fan in particular of viciously difficult cryptic crosswords, that is for you, and that's available on Patreon right now. The other thing, of course, on Patreon, which is free, is this, which is the bonus pack of Japanese sum Sudoku puzzles from Panthera and the Asylum. And this is the teaser for our monthly reward at the start of November, which is only a few days away now. And these Japanese sum Sudoku puzzles are all great because you get a picture at the end of the puzzle if you do it correctly. So do check out these. And if you're struggling with any of them, then if you're a patron, you can go over to Discord and be aware that there is a patron-only channel in Discord, where I know you'll find Panthera and the Asylum there to give you some hints. So do try and converse with them if you're having any difficulties. And apparently anyone who solves this puzzle, which is the 16 by 16 puzzle, not an alarm clock, will win an award if you DM the Asylum over on Discord now. So that all said and done, let's get on with Joseph's puzzle. What are the rules? I'll read them to you. Normal Sudoku rules apply. In cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage. Digits cannot repeat within a cage. So completely standard killer Sudoku rules. So that means in this cage here, these 4 cells sum to 12. And what we can't do, for example, is that. Because although that would obey the rules of normal Sudoku, these 3s are not in the same row, column or box. They are in the same cage, and that won't work. So don't do that. You'll get the puzzle wrong. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video, as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And the first and most obvious thing I see in this grid is a proliferation of 12 cages. And I know, what do I know about? I know 2 things about 12 cages. The first is that they always have a 1 and a 2 in them. The second is that they always, there's basically 2 compositions in 4 cells that sum to 12. 1, 2, 3, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, so I think it looks to me like we can do some stuff with the 1s and 2s here. If you look at this cage, that's got a 1 and a 2 in it. So this little cell can't be a 1 or a 2. Now that means I've got to put a 1 and a 2 into this triomino here. But if I put them both in this, so if I made that a 1-2 pair, now this 12 cage couldn't have a 1 and a 2 in it. I could put a 1 or a 2 here, but not both. So I think that means that that square is a 1 or a 2. And it means there's a 1 or a 2. Ah, yeah, okay. Right. There's a 1 or a 2 in this domino, And whatever that is needs to appear in this 12 cage and can't appear in the same box as itself. So if this square was a 1, in fact, it's interesting, isn't it? I can see two things about this. Firstly, this square is a 1 or a 2. Secondly, where do you put this digit now in this 12 cage? It bounces back sort of boomerang style, and it can't go here anymore because there's the 1 and the, well, it obviously can't go here because this cell cannot go there. And it can't go there, and it can't go there because it already exists in the 12 cage in box 4, so it must go there. Yeah, and the same logic applies using this one. Where does this one go? In this 12 cage, it's got to go there. So there's a 1-2 pair in row 2 and a 1-2 pair in row 3. Yes, and now where do the 1 and the 2 go in this L tetromino here? In neither of those two squares, so they must go, whoopsie, must go in those two cells. So now I'm going to come back over to this one. I like this so far, it's quite interesting. So now this square can't be a 1 or a 2. You can't put 1 and 2 in this domino or this cell's got a problem, so that square's a 1 or a 2. Now where does this cell go in this tetromino? Well, it can't go there because that can be neither a 1 nor a 2, and it can't go there by Sudoku, so it must go here. In fact, probably we might want to colour these 1s and 2s actually to keep track of them. Let me think about that in a moment. Let's just see if we can go. Yeah, you see things like, I'm now noticing this 12 cage down here, that needs a 1 or a 2 in it. You can't put 1 or 2 here. You can't put 1, 2 in that domino, or that's got a problem, so that's a 1 or a 2. So I think I am going to colour these. Now, then the question becomes, I think I'll start with this one because I can get into this pair via the medium of this cage. So let's colour that one in purple and that one in green. And then you can see this has to be purple. This has to be green. Therefore that's green, that's purple. I know I need no excuse to colour. Yeah, okay, now green is forced into the corner of the grid. Now, what else do we know about the world? We know that there must be a... what else do we know about the world? Come on, Simon. Ah, yeah, okay, that's actually purple, isn't it? Because it can't... This purple, these purples pinch all those cells from that, so that's purple. So now this is purple. Okay, and then we've still got to work out where green goes in both this one. Green in this one? Do we know? No, I don't think we do know where that goes. Green in this one must be in this domino. Maybe I'm going to have to start doing dominoes for some of the cells where I haven't learnt enough about them yet. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, because there must be a green in that domino, so that can't be green. So this is the green. And that gives us a 1-2 pair in column 3. And that means... don't know what that means. Okay, so this square now cannot be a 1 or a 2. This domino can't be a 1-2 pair because that's going to give that cell a problem. So this square is a 1 or a 2, and that's purple. Lovely. So now, purple? No. Oh, I suppose... Right, I can get purple in box 7, because purple... In fact, I can get purple as well in this box, because I didn't spot this purple. So those two are ruled out of being purple. That's the only purple cell left in box 9. There are 4 purples now looking at this box. Whenever you get 4 of the same digit looking at a box of a Sudoku, you can always locate that digit. That's something worth remembering. Then we can put purple in the corner up there. So we've done all the purples, and we just have to figure out the rest of the greens. Now, yeah, okay, what we can see now is where does the green go in this 12? Not here. So it's in this domino, which means this is not green. So that gives us that one. And... oh no. don't think there's any maths we can do. So if that was green, it would be a low digit. No, there's nothing restricted about the 28 cage. So there's actually only 2 cages here, the 28 cage and the 27 cage, that are not 12 cages, which is quite surprising. I don't see, no, I was about to say something that might have been, no, okay, so I don't see how to do the last greens. That's a bit, greens have let themselves down. Okay, so maybe what we do now is, do we use the other thing I know about 12 cages? So I'm thinking if we know that this 12 cage here is either, well, this domino is either a 3-6 pair or a 4-5 pair. So whatever it is, this one is not. So if that was, I don't know, let's make that orange. This will have to be the different form of 12 cage, because if that's 4-5, that therefore cannot be 4-5, and this would have to be 3-6, and vice versa. Yeah, this domino. Now this, we can't make this an orange domino, or this cell would have no value, so that's a blue domino. Now, one of these is green, but one of them needs to be either orange or blue. Well, we can't put blue in here at all. So there must be an orange. This, well, that's orange, and this is an orange-green domino. Aha, and that is interesting for column 5, because I now have got a virtual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sextuple in the column, because I've got both oranges there, both blues there, and I've got the green and the purple as well. So these squares have got to be the others. Make those black. We'll do absence of colour for the high digits. 7s, 8s and 9s are black today. Now, what else? This one. Ooh, that's interesting. So this one can't be a blue 12 because we've already got a blue here. So this is an orange 12, but that means that these two cells are actually the same digit. So we might have to start differentiating even between our oranges in a minute. But let's see if we can take this a bit further first. Yeah, I can see that might be true because those two are both the same, as is that one. Anyway, let's carry on. This square now can't be orange, so this is a blue domino. That can't be blue, so this is an orange domino. Oh, I've now got 2 oranges. This is so clever. I've now got 2 oranges in row 8, so that can't be orange as well. That would be a 3rd orange. So that tells us that this is the orange. And that's the green. So we're labelling greens, aren't we? So that gets a 1. Oh, now I can place the green in here. It's got to be there. Now I'm... what's that telling me? I'm wondering if it's telling me something about the 20 cage. So 20 cage can't have... well, it can't have 3 high digits in it. They would add to 24. So it's got to have some low digits in it. But these 2 squares here, I can only put 1 low digit in those squares because I've already got 3 low digits in box 4. So I could have 1 high digit, 1 low digit. What about that one? No, that could still be blue. That could still be the other blue. That 20 kg, there's something nagging me about that, but I can't tell how it's going to work. So let's move on. Have I coloured? I've coloured in all my 12 kgs, I think. Okay. Is that good? I think it probably is good. But it really hasn't, doesn't seem to have advanced us as much as I hoped it would. But row 3 has also got a proliferation of blues and oranges and 1s and 2s. So those cells there have also got to be a 7, 8, 9 triple. Now I want to look at this domino. Where does that domino live in column 3? Well, the answer is not in those two squares. So these two have got to be black. Right, and that's really interesting because... yeah, that is really interesting. And now I can come back to my 20 cage, I think. I've got a black cell here, so that's a 7, 8 or a 9 in this square. These two squares cannot both be low digits because there's only a blue digit left. Look, we've got 5 low digits there. There's only one which is a blue, which I could put in here as the other low digit. So there must be a blue in there, because if there isn't, these would be 3 black cells, and 3 black cells, if they're different, 7, 8 and 9 add to 24. So this is a blue-black pair, which feels important, doesn't it? But I don't quite know. I suppose the minimum the 2 black digits in the 20 cage add up to would be 7 plus 8 is 15. So the blue digit here is a low digit. So if we think about the parity of the blue and orange dominoes, there's a 3, 6 and there's a 4, 5. So there's always a sort of low digit, a 3 or a 4, and a high digit, a 5 or a 6. Now if the blue digit here was a 5 or a 6, by the time we'd added the 2 black digits in, we'd have got to 20 already. That won't work. So the blue digit here is the low digit, which means that blue digit is a high digit. So that's a 5 or a 6. That means that one's a 3 or a 4. This one's a 5 or a 6. That one's a 3 or a 4. That one's a 3 or a 4. That one's a 5 or a 6. So there's a 3 or a 4 in one of these two cells now, a 5 or a 6 in one of those two cells. Yeah, and I have a feeling, yeah, it's going to have to be... oh, I forgot the 20 cage when I was going on about the 28 and the 27 cages, didn't I? But there are these 3 cages that are... well, are they the odd ones out? No, it just says the odd one in the... as the title for the puzzle. Anyway, I don't quite... it's going to have to be magic with these 3 cages, I think, in order to work out what's going on. So, what do we do next? That's the next challenge. So, yeah, actually, here we go. What's it? We know what these 2 cells are, because only one of these is a black digit. We know there are 3 black digits in box 4, so those 2 are both black. And that means, look at this, I've got my 3 black digits in column 1 out of nowhere. So this square can't be a 4th black digit. So that's the blue one, and this is the black one. Okay, so that one gets labelled up. Which means what? That's nearly very interesting in box 1 for this blue digit, but not quite. It's very interesting for the green digit up here, actually. That's got to be green in the top corner. Just by Sudoku, there are 4 greens looking at box 1. Okay. Here's something small. This 3, 4 digit is in this domino. And this 3, 4 is ruling out 3, 4 from those cells in box 1. So the 3, 4 can only go here. So that's a 3 or a 4. Now I've got all my low digits in column 3, so that's the last black digit. I don't seem to know very much about black digits in row 2 though. So these squares have got to be 2 oranges. Right, okay, 2 oranges I can't put here because that would be 3 oranges in the column. So that's become orange. And this is now an orange-blue pair. Now, do we know the order? That is the question. That's the question. I'm not sure whether we do or not. trying to see, and I'm not doing a very good job of spotting whether we can tell which of these is which. Sorry, no, I can't quite see how to do that. So this column needs... Yeah, so this column down here has got a blue and an orange at the bottom of the column. But again, we don't know whether these... Well, we know the blue one is a high one. Oh! Ah, no, nearly. I was thinking about that digit. Where does that digit go in row 9? Because it can't repeat there. So if that's blue, it goes there. If it's orange, it's got one of two places to go. Bobbins. Okay. Oh, no, I've got two oranges here. So this cannot be orange. That's blue. Oh, that's perfect. That's what I want it to be. If that's blue, where does this digit go in row 9? Only there. So that's orange. So that's, well, I was going to say it's probably 3 or 4. It probably is, but I don't think it necessarily is. Okay. So that means in this row, we now know this is a 5 or a 6. We've got to put a second black digit and a second blue digit. Oh, no. Oh, yes, I can do it. No, how can I? Yeah, because I know that this one is the same as this one. So this is a 5, 6. Therefore, I should ask, where does 3, 4 go in row 9? It's not here by Sudoku, so it must be there. So that's a 3, 4 blue. This, therefore, is the final black cell. This is a black cell to complete the quota for both column 2 and box 7. We need a blue 3, 4 along there somewhere. And, okay. Have I done all my greens and all? I can see I've got 9 greens. Yeah, I've got 9 greens and 9 purples. Okay, so can we do anything with this now? This is a 28 cage that we've fully coloured. So we know those two squares sum to 9. So we've got 9 plus something. So these 3 add up to 19, and we know that this is orange, so it's at least 3. Let me just think about this for a second. So this is orange. These are at least 15. Yeah, okay. Let's think about the nature of this cell. We know it's either a high orange, i.e. a 5 or a 6, or a low orange, a 3 or a 4. Now, if it's a high orange, I think the puzzle's broken now, because these would add up to 11. This domino would add up to a minimum of 7 plus 8. So that's 15 plus 11 is 26, and we've still got to cater for this square, which is at least 3. So we'd hit 29. So this, the nature of this orange in the corner, is a low orange, which means that's a high orange, this is a low orange. This is a high orange, this is a low orange. So now we've definitely got 7 here. 7. So now we've got flexibility built in, so bother. Okay, so we've got to do something else next. This is a high digit, that's a low digit, we know that. This is a low digit, this is a high digit. Are we going to get all of these? We are we? One of these is a 3, 4. We still don't seem to know which one. I mean, when I say 3, 4, I mean an orange 3 or 4. Okay, so we're stuck again, I think. We're stuck again, and we need to come up with some more logic. It's probably going to be this 27 cage somehow. But I can't quite see how to do that yet. What shall we look for next? 5, 6. If that's no, I can't. I'm not seeing it. I really am not. Gosh, I've gone. My mind's gone completely blank. I'm not seeing anything here. Okay. There's a 5, 6 here. So there's a 5, 6 in this column, and that places, look, the 5, 6 into box 8 in exactly that cell. So that's something. So now, okay. So now the final blue cell is there. So that's the final 3, 4 blue. That gets us this square as a black cell. So there's two, excuse me, there's 2 black cells at the bottom of column 4. So then this square must be black then. Otherwise, there's a big problem with Sudoku because these 2 digits do need to appear somewhere in box 5. So do we know the nature of this cell then? That cell can't be a black cell because there aren't 3 coloured cells available. So there must be another coloured cell in this column in this square, and you can see it must in fact be blue therefore. That's huge. Yes, so the easier way of seeing that is we've got blue dominoes here and here. So that's got to be the final blue cell. That might get us quite a bit, I think, because now this can't be blue. Therefore, this square is blue, and we know it's a 5 or a 6. Therefore, this is a low orange. Nearly. These 2 squares are both black now. Come on, there's a... Right, yeah, we need a 5, 6 in the top row. It's got to go exactly there. That's got to be a black cell now. Now there's a 3 or a 4, so this is a black 3, 4 or a black orange pair, which I don't know how to do. What else do we know? We've got to put 2 oranges in these cells. I don't think... Oh, hang on. No, look at this column. That's going to be more interesting. I've got 6 coloured digits, so those 3 must be black digits. But hang about. No, I was about to say something that would have been absolutely nonsense there. I was about to say I couldn't put a second black digit in this 27 cage, but you can. This square can't repeat in the 27 cage, obviously, but whatever goes in this domino, you could hide it. Oh no, you can't hide it there. Whoa! Whoa, okay, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. This square here cannot be black, because I've already got 3 blacks in row 7. So in fact, I know both of those are blues. Oh, this is enormous. Well, yeah, it is. It's enormous because I know what the sum of those digits is. That is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Right. So let's explore what I'm talking about here. Once you can only put 1 black in here, in this 27, what's the nature of these squares? Because these cannot repeat. Well, these squares cannot be 1 or 2, and they're not black. So they must be the 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, you might not know the colours of them, but they're definitely 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6 add up to 18. So that square is a 9. There we go. That's our first digit in the grid after nearly half an hour. So that's a 7, 8 pair. Now I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go and look at this 9 and then come back here because we can probably colour some of these in. But this 9 looks interesting because now there's a 9 in there, in this domino, in box 8. And that means that's the only place for a 9 in box 7. And now there's a 9 in this domino. So this is the only place for a 9 in box 1. Now there's a 9 in this domino. So this is the only place for a 9 in box 3. Don't think that goes into... We don't know enough about box 5 still. But that was very exciting. Now, these two squares are a 7-8 pair now, so they're both awarded the mantle of black. This square here must be an orange, a low orange. Right, so this square is low, i.e. it's a coloured square and it's not blue, so it must be orange, and it's not a high orange, so that is a 3-4. Which means there's a 3-4 in exactly this square in the central box, which is probably important. Yeah, because now I know where the 5-4-6 goes. It goes exactly there. So that square is the final black square in the central box. Now this square has to be a colour, but it's not orange, so that's blue. And it's not 5-6. This is 3-4. This is comically clever. Now I've got two blues, so that's got to be the high orange. Okay, so now this square must be blue, because I've not got two blues in that row. This square's now got to be a 9, actually. I've not put 9 in the box, so 9 gets blackened in. That gets us a 9 over here. That gets us a 9 here, here, here. Is that all the 9s? Yes, okay, so they're all the 9s in the grid. We've very nearly done all the colouring as well, I think. Yeah, that square's a 3 or a 4. This square must be a final... Yeah, we've now done all the colouring. So this should now be disambiguated by something like... no, we've sort of done the 27 cage, haven't we? So not to the 27 cage. Maybe this cage? I've got 7, I've got 16 in those cells, so I need 12 more from the... Oh yeah, it's done. Look, this is a high digit. These two squares have to add up to 12, and this is already equal. It's a high blue, so it's at least 5, so that has to be 7. That has to be 5, and that's enormously powerful. Literally, I think that will finish the puzzle, because, look, now I can do, I think, all the 7s. That's probably famous last words, but I am suspicious that I should be able to. That's got to be 8 now. This 7. Oh, maybe. Well, that's an 8 now. Oh, maybe it doesn't quite do everything. Sorry, I thought it would. Now, this is a high blue, and therefore all of the blues, which are the high digits, are all 5. All of those are 5s, and therefore we know that the blues together add up to 9, so all of the low blues are 4s. Which means, of course, all of the low oranges become 3s. I can probably double click these and make them work, but I didn't do that, and all of the high oranges are now 6s. Shouldn't take too long to do these. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Sign of the devil. Now, why hasn't this finished? What have I missed? Oh, that's an 8. That's what I've missed. That's an 8. There we go. I still can't quite see how to do these. The 7s and 8s form a deadly pattern. Oh, it's the 20 cage. Yes, and well, in fact, it's also the fact that this 8 is in the same cage as this cell. So that can only be a 7. So that's 7, that's 8. That's 7, that's 8, and that's 8. And that's all the high digits done. I've got 15, 19 in my 20 cage, and that's the final piece of the jigsaw. So the greens all have to be 1s, the purples all have to be 2s. That square's been left out, and that's an 8. And there we go. Yes, that's brilliant. That's quite brilliant, isn't it? Good grief. I mean, it's very colourful now. I'm tempted to get rid of the colours so I can study it a bit more, or a bit more clearly, but it's so well put together. The fact that you can basically place all but all of the 1s and 2s, even though you don't know whether they're 1s and 2s very early on, and then you can work on the sort of the nature of the cages and work out certain things. Like I think we worked out that had to be a highish digit. And then you can go through the grid again and sort of start to earmark certain cells as high, certain cells as low, and work your way into this 20 cage, this 28 cage, and this 27 cage. And the pièce de résistance for me was this string of 7, 8, 9s, and then asking myself where these digits went in this column, and thinking, I can put one of them here. The moment I couldn't put one of them here, this revealed itself to be a sort of a 3, 4, 5, 6 quadruple, and all of a sudden the puzzle fell. It was really, really beautiful. It really was very clever indeed. Loved that. Loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I do enjoy reading them, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.